Actors, we've all got issues, so let's talk about them. I'm Juan Ayala, and welcome to Actors with Issues. Each week, we bring you interviews with actors from across TV, film, and Broadway, taking many deep dives into their careers and getting into the successes, the struggles, and of course, the issues that they face as actors. That's enough about us. Let's dive into the episode. Today's guest is an actor you've seen across your TV screens in movies, shows, comedies, dramas, and from the hit Disney Plus series High School Musical, the musical, the series. Please welcome to the stage Matt Cornett. Matt, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
So we always start with a game called Getting to Know You. It's a rapid fire round of questions just to get to know you a little better. There's no timer. I got rid of the timer. It stressed people out.
Yeah, rapid fire is not my strong suit, but we'll make it work.
We always start with an easy one, coffee or tea?
See, you say that's easy. Coffee, but it didn't used to be.
Film or television?
Film.
Drama.
Gosh, television. I don't know. See? Okay.
Drama or comedy?
Comedy.
Hero or villain?
Hero.
Stage acting or screen acting?
There's a time and a place for both, but I have a newfound love for stage acting.
Day off, are you watching a horror movie or a rom-com?
Horror movie.
What actors had the biggest influence on you?
Ooh, that is a fantastic question. Okay, so Sam Worthington used to be my absolute favorite actor because I was a big fan of Avatar. Yeah, I'll say Sam Worthington. I really enjoyed him in that film.
What is the last show that you binge watched?
Big Brother, the reality show. I didn't get to finish the last season, so the new season just came out, so I binge watched the last season.
What was your first non-acting job?
To be honest, I never really had a real job before that.
You're not the first to say that.
I started acting when I was 13, so acting was my first real job.
Gotcha. What is a movie that never fails to make you laugh?
That's Step Brothers. It's so horribly inappropriate, but it's so
Good
funny.
choice. And a movie that never fails to make you cry?
Oh my goodness, these are great. I haven't seen this in so long, but Marley and Me.
That's a movie you can't really rewatch that much unless you need a good
No,
cry.
that will bring some tears.
Yeah. And lastly, describe your most memorable audition in 3 words. And memorable can be good or bad, so that's up to you.
Okay, so I have a lot of great memorable auditions, but I will say a one that's very memorable that's bad. 3 words. Embarrassing, forgetting, and crying.
I'll do it. So as you mentioned, you have been in this industry for a very long time, almost a decade at this point. Well, what was it about acting that sparked your interest so early on?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always enjoyed just making people laugh and doing, goofy things to just kind of give people entertainment and enjoyment and all of that. And I did theater growing up, but I would say just for making film and television, it's just so much fun getting to give people an escape out of their daily lives and giving people something to watch to kind of let them forget about whatever they have going in their daily life. I know I need that, occasionally, where I just kind of need to decompress and just take my mind off of everything happening because life can be crazy and stressful. So yeah, I think I just really enjoy giving people that sense of escape, and it's always a nice feeling when I hear people come to me and tell me how much a show or a movie or my character has influenced them and has helped them through hard times, and it's very heartwarming hearing that. So that's what I love doing.
I think it's so great that the show, your show, High School Musical, the musical, the series, it's such a sweet and feel good type of show. And like, especially in the last couple of years, people have been going through really hard times. So I have a feeling that like a lot of young kids are like living vicariously through all of you doing the show on stage when their musical might have been canceled because of COVID, or they didn't get to do it in the last year of high school or anything. So yeah, I'm sure that you do get like lots of like fan responses, saying
Yeah.
that they're like just sort of living vicariously through all of your characters.
Yeah, absolutely. I've gotten, I've gotten a lot of people that have come up to me, and a lot of people that, I meet in person when I'm, out and about, that come and talk to me and just tell me how much the show has helped them through some really hard times that they've gone through. And I think that's something amazing about our show too, is it also kind of has so much representation that I know has helped people on that, side of things, just helping kind of represent more, a more wide variety of people and backgrounds and everything like that. And I'm so happy I can be a part of something like that.
So just going back a bit, once you go through the whole audition process and you get the call that you've booked the role of EJ, what was going through your mind? What was your reaction to all of that?
Yeah, it was crazy. And I remember I was out like by the beach at this hotel with a friend, and it was I remember getting the call and just sobbing and just being so excited. This show was something that I was really, really excited to be a part of. There was also a bit of nervousness, immediately associated with it too, because I knew like, wow, this is such a big title, and this, holds such a big name. So there was a big immediate sense of like, wow, this is going to be something that I think, people are going to be having their eyes on, because it has a big name to live up to. But I immediately was just so excited to get to be a part of it, and just get to really, really help create this character, EJ. He's been a blast to kind of figure out the last 3 years.
And with the setting and production for season three moving from Salt Lake City, to Los Angeles, what were some of the biggest differences that you felt between seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think the newness was very nice this season. It just felt fresh and new because we are in a new place, within the show and outside of the show. Like, we're actually filming in LA, so that was nice. But also, it was just kind of odd, because the first two seasons we got so used to our crew and everybody in Salt Lake City. And so it was definitely a change coming here and working with so many new people here in LA. But the people here in LA were so wonderful and so incredibly nice, and it was an absolute joy working with them as well. And they helped make the show still feel like the show, while having such a new sense and a new factor, with being here.
And with season three, you guys are all tackling another Disney darling property, Frozen, which is hilarious that you're doing Frozen at a summer camp.
Yeah.
But how excited were all of you to learn that you're doing Frozen?
I think we were all stoked to hear that. I was very excited because in some interviews, prior to season three even being announced, like that we got a third season, I remember there were so many interviews that I was asked, if you got a third season, what show would you want to do? And I always said Frozen, because I thought it would just be so fun. I thought there's so many different avenues to explore, so many fun characters. And so I personally was very excited, just because I felt like I was psychic. I felt like I saw the future. But no, we were all so excited. The music is so incredible. It's such iconic music, such an iconic film, and show, and it was so exciting to get to put that together.
You guys are already renewed for season four before season three has even come out. So, what is on your bucket list for a musical for next year?
I don't know. I was actually talking with Joshua Bassett and Jason Earls today about this. We were just like, what shows do you think it's gonna be? I think it would be fun to do, honestly, like any Disney show. I think it would be fun to do like a Peter Pan or something along those lines. I think. I think Little Mermaid would be very fun, just because it would add a water element to the mix, and maybe we'd get to film in some water in a pool. I don't know, we'll see. But I think that would be fun. But we'll see.
When I spoke to Frankie last year, he said Into the Woods, which is funny now that Julia Lester's doing Into the Woods on Broadway.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I actually just spoke with Julia last week, and she said similarly Peter Pan or maybe like Mary Poppins, sort of like
Oh,
a
that would be
classic
fun.
Disney.
Yeah.
Um, I was telling her that I think it'd be great to do Hunchback because that's like my favorite Disney score, but I think it's a little too dark for
Oh,
you guys to do. But
maybe
it's
a
such an
tad,
epic
but the
show.
score is fantastic.
Yeah. So with our show again being called Actors with Issues, we do get a bit into sort of like the career obstacles and giving tips to our young audience of actors. And something that is requested a lot that I tend to forget to ask is sort of like how young actors can get their first agent or manager because
Mm.
when you're young, it's a lot more difficult to sort of get auditions when you don't have a rep. What tips can you give for actors around your age or perhaps younger who are like sort of looking to like break into the industry on that front?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing is just fully be yourself. And I know a lot of times going into meetings with agents and managers, I think a lot of people tend to try to feel like they need to impress these people
Yeah.
and like really make these people like them so that they add them to their roster and can help get them jobs. But I think the best thing to do with that is be fully yourself so that they can see who you are. And that way they kind of know what they're getting into with adding you onto the roster and kind of know what roles you can play into and your agent and manager, it's so nice to have a good close relationship with them. So
Mm.
I think just being fully yourself and just embracing that and showing them that is a huge thing. And I know it's really tough getting managers and agents. And I think it's sometimes just as simple as finding, a couple agents and managers, going on their website or whatever, finding their emails or phone numbers and just sending an email over and just being like, hey, I'm kind of new to this, or if you're not, then just I think it's nice to explain kind of like where you're coming from and everything like that, and be like, I'd love to have a meeting and get your thoughts on some things and see if that's something we could work towards together in the future. So yeah, I think the overall tip I would give is just be fully 100% yourself.
Exactly. Because in that front, when because it's not sort of like it's not the same relationship as like with a casting director. With a
Mm,
rep, it's very much like we're going to be coworkers, a team.
yeah,
I'm not working with you as an actor. I'm working with you as you.
yeah,
So they want to be able to see like who you are
yes,
outside of the audition, but rather
yeah,
just in those
absolutely,
conversations. Yeah.
absolutely.
And I'm curious if there's anything that comes to mind as something that you know now about acting, about the entertainment industry that you wish you learned earlier on in your career.
Mm. Yeah, I think something that's very important that I've learned and that I honestly still struggle with is not putting so much pressure on yourself and not putting so much pressure on any specific scene or moment or anything that you might think is a really important moment for your character or for the project or whatever. While it is important to know that that's a big important moment, I personally tend to put too much pressure on it, and then I overwork it. I overwork the scene. I over prepare the scene. And then it's just not as genuine. It's
Mhm.
nice to have your material prepared and you want to work on it and go into it with choices and stuff like that, but not so much to the point that you're not able to be fully authentic in the scene. Because something that I've learned is a lot of times when I tend to get so lost in the scene that I forget a line or I do something completely different than, the way I had prepped it or whatever is usually the better take because
Mhm.
it's just when I'm present and in the scene and just enjoying it and just listening to the other people. That's something else. It's such a simple thing and such like the like number one thing for actors, but there are times where I forget to listen and I have to tell myself like just listen and that will
Yeah.
solve so many different problems. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's sort of like the number one cardinal rule of acting is
Yeah.
reacting,
Yep.
and just being present and trusting your instinct.
Yeah, and it's so easy to forget that sometimes with pressure. I'm someone I'm a perfectionist, so I like to make sure things are perfect, perfect, perfect. And in that, I tend to over prepare things. And that's not a good thing to overwork something.
Yeah.
So it's like finding that middle ground, like riding the line of being prepared, but not too prepared to where you're not able to
Right.
just be genuine in the moment.
Yeah. And looking ahead, what is on your bucket list? Any dream franchises, dream
Oh,
genres, co-stars? Do you want to dabble into writing or directing? Get behind the camera? What's the
yeah.
goal?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to at some point write and direct and produce and all that. I think it would be a blast. There's just so much there's so much new work that goes into that, and I think it's something that I would need to slowly work my way into. But I would love to do that at some point. As far as like a dream franchise to be a part of, I would love to be a Marvel superhero. I mean, who
Right.
wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to be a Marvel
Right.
superhero? But I would love to do something in the MCU. Be some kind of superhero in the MCU or something along those lines. I think it would be a blast.
So before we go, we always play another quick. It's not really a rapid fire at this point. It's a bit more of like slower burn questions.
Great.
What we call it now that we know you, since we've gotten a chat for a bit now. So fill in the blank. If I weren't working in the arts, I'd be.
A basketball player. I grew up wanting to play basketball, and then acting, stole my heart, and and here I am. But basketball, if it wasn't
But
this.
you got to do a basketball musical season
I
one. So
did
there
get
you
to do a
go.
basketball musical,
Best
so
of
I
both
did
worlds.
kind of get. I got a little basketball in there.
What role have you had the most fun playing?
Either EJ in High School Musical or Alan in Zombies 3. That was a very fun one, just because it was so different from anything I've ever done. I got to have blue hair. I had to play, something that isn't human and something that's from another world. So kind of learning the ins and outs of how something not from or a person not from Earth would act was very fun.
Yeah, we actually had your co-star Terry on our show.
Oh yeah,
We had like a Pride roundtable, and they were talking all about the movie, and
yeah,
I loved it. I got to see it in advance because we were interviewing Terry. But yeah, I
yeah,
thought you guys did such a great job. It was so out there for sort of typical
yeah.
Disney Plus, Disney Channel type movies. I grew up
It
watching
is.
DComs, so
Yeah, no, I'm so proud of that movie, and it was such a great experience, and it tells such great stories, and I love that movie so much.
what is the best advice you've ever gotten?
Well, this is also just kind of a quote, but it's something that my family has always kind of instilled in me is that just like don't set your dreams or your bar too low for yourself. Like the quote there's a quote that says shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you're still among the stars. I think that's something that has always been important for my family, and everyone in my family has always kind of stood by that in the sense of set your bar high for yourself, and kind of have those high goals for yourself so that you do obviously you want to have like goals that you can achieve periodically, but like the overall overarching goal is just dream big. I always anytime I sign something for someone, I always write dream big, because I think that's so important, just to like set your bar high for yourself, because you can achieve it. It's absolutely possible to achieve anything you want to achieve. So yeah, and also just important to be yourself. It's
Yeah.
so simple. It's such a simple piece of advice, but it's so important.
And similarly, what's the worst advice you ever gotten? I know we try and put away all the bad advice, just toss it
Yes.
out, but
Yeah.
sometimes it stays with us.
I think the worst piece of advice I've ever gotten was honestly, like I've been told by people before, just like care less about things, and like about how certain things uh, I do affect certain people. And I think that's a horrible piece of advice, because I think it is important to like, be true to yourself and everything like that. But you also want to be very, aware of how you're treating others and
Mm.
affecting others, and others, thoughts and emotions and feelings and everything. So yeah, I have been told before, well, like, who cares what they think? Well, I mean, like, to an extent, but also like be respectful to their thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny. We've I forget who said it. We've done over 100 of these interviews at this point. But I think it was two or three different actors had the same quote. It was care less, but don't be careless.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
sort of finding that balance
Yeah, that's
between the two.
great. And that's so true. I know I've said before, like, it doesn't matter what other people think of you, like if they, whatever, but that is the perfect quote. Care less, but don't be careless. That's perfect.
And lastly, in 10 words or less, what advice would you give to a young actor?
Um, love yourself, be proud of who you are, and just embrace yourself to the fullest extent.
Awesome. Well, Matt, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. For anyone who wants to give you a follow on Instagram or anywhere on social media, where can they find you?
Instagram is just my name, Matt Cornett. Twitter is Matt underscore Cornett underscore, I believe. I'm not super active on Twitter. And then TikTok is the same thing, Matt underscore Cornett underscore, I think. I'm also trying to become more active on TikTok. I'm the most active on Instagram, but I'm trying to become more active on TikTok. But we'll
Awesome. And folks, as always, you can follow us on Instagram at Actors with Issues. Give me a follow at Juaniala Official and be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts and check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Actors with Issues podcast for new episodes every Monday. And don't miss season 3 of High School Musical, the musical of the series, streaming on Disney Plus July 27th. I'm Juaniala. This is Actors with Issues, and we'll see you next week.